The Help menu provides documentation and tips on how to use SigQC. The Help menu can be found at the top of the screen. The function key F1 will also prompt the Help menu. Use this menu for further explanation of topics in SigQC. In order to interact with SigQC features, it is required to log into an account with appropriate privileges. Almost all operations in SigQC will require some level of security to access the function. This example shows how to log into the administrator account so you can begin making changes and editing account information. Select the File menu in the top left corner of SigQC. Select Security. Select Login. Enter the password. By default, the password is left blank and can be changed in the Edit Accounts menu just below the Login option. Once logged in, the user has full access to features and menus of SigQC. The function key F6 can also select the Login menu. When the user has finished all tasks in SigQC, it is recommended to log out. This can also be found just below the Login selection. SigQC supports an extensive multi-level security feature. In order to set this up, it is best to review the Help menu and discuss it with Signalis' customer care. In order to test a production part, it is necessary to start the production sequence. This can be done manually or automatically on application startup. First, right-click within the white space of the production line window. Select Start. The keyboard function F9 will also start the production line. Halting a production line is necessary to make changes within SigQC. First, log in as administrator. Right-click within the production line. Select Halt. The function key F12 will also halt the production line. The product database tree is the primary window used throughout the application. It contains a hierarchical list of products, production line sequences, acceptance tests, acceptance test cases, product data pools, and data pool filters which have been defined by the user for the currently open database. Only one product database tree may be opened at a given time. The product database tree may not be closed. The production line is for designing and executing the test sequence. Product represents a specific production unit model or part type. Part types that differ in structure should be separated as unique models. Part types that differ cosmetically can be represented by a single model. Acceptance test represents a specific test phase. Acceptance tests typically represent a part movement such as forward, reverse, etc. For rotating parts, it may be associated with a specific speed profile. Analyzer settings represents the host analyzer settings, contains properties that identify the analyzer project. Raw analyzer data source represents a data source that is acquired directly from the host data acquisition analyzer. Post-process data source represents a data source that is calculated from a post-process template. Acceptance test case provides pass-fail judgment on data acquired from either a raw or post-process data source. Product data pool accesses data from the database for export to CSV, UFF, and QDOS formats. A post-process template is a series of operations that are applied to measure data. It consists of an input and output data source, also known as a metric. First, log in as administrator. Halt the production line. Select Display, List, Post-Process Templates. This window will appear showing current metric created within this database. Selecting the metric from the top left window will display the configuration of that metric below and also the test cases that call upon this metric in the window to the right. These can now be edited by selecting the checkbox next to Read Only. To add a new metric, select Insert. Give the metric a title. Right-click within the blank white window. Insert a data source by selecting it from the drop-down menu. Insert a result by selecting it from the drop-down menu. Continue using this menu to add steps in order to complete the desired calculation. Trust me, you're going to need help. You can make a career out of designing and developing metrics alone. If this is your passion, it's ours too, so give us a call. Once completed, close the window and save. A target data pool is a list of measured functions used to define tolerance limits. Typically, the list is a population of good units. The target data pool requires 3 data points to be added from the product data pool. The bullseye with the downward arrow icon will add highlighted data points from product data pool to target data pool. It is strongly suggested to keep the target data pool to the bare minimum of 3, as a target data pool will use more of the database storage and shrink the amount of data to be stored on the database. Caps and gaps are used to define tolerance limits for test cases. Halt the production line. Open the product item. Open the acceptance test. Double left click the desired test case. Select the Caps and Gaps tab. If limits are currently set, the tab will have boxes checked and numbers entered. If not, then it will be blank and require all boxes shown to be checked and values entered. An icon will appear at the top of the screen. Select the icon and it will calculate the target function. Once it is grayed out, the limits will have been added. Select a data point from the product data pool. The data point will be shown in relation to the new limits. Filters are typically used to work on a subset of measured functions. First, log in as administrator. Halt production line. At the top of the screen, select Display, List, Product Data Filter. The shortcut Control F will also bring up the Product Data Filter window. Select a product name. Within the Dates tab is the option to set a date range. Within Qualifiers tab are options for several qualifier types. Selecting the desired options, click Save As and name the filter. Select OK. Select OK again to close the filter setup window. SigQC's development team is always eager to get under the hood and often adding new features. While these videos are intended to help, our media department may not always be able to keep up. So it's always a good idea to stay up to date by checking in with the help menu. A slice generator is used to graph a group of production units within a predefined range. Log in as administrator. Halt production line. Open the model of interest within the product database. Open the acceptance test that contains the test case of interest. Right-click the test case and select Insert Slice Generator. Follow the Slice Generator wizard and select OK. Notice that a new icon appears connected to the test case. Highlight the icon and select Generate Slice. On the left side of the screen, select under Element List Slice 1. The units stored under this test case will appear in the window to the right. Right-click within the white window and insert a cursor. This will allow you to navigate through the data for review. SigQC's development team is always eager to get under the hood and often adding new features. While these videos are intended to help, our media department may not always be able to keep up. So it's always a good idea to stay up to date by checking in with the help menu. The unit data export is designed to export single value test case data in delimited text format. Log in as administrator. Halt production line. Using the product tree, select the product data pool. Right-click the product data. Select Export. Select Unit Data. Under the Delimiters tab, select Comma from the drop-down menu next to the Database Field Delimiter. Under the Timespan tab, select one of the choices for the data to be displayed. The bottom option of Exporting a filtered list of production units allows the user to create a filter to export or use a currently existing one. Click the Browse button to create one or select the drop-down menu arrow to select a pre-existing filter. Select the Test Cases tab. Select a single value test or cases. Select Add Selected button. When all desired test cases have been added, select OK. A folder browser will appear. Give the export file an appropriate name. At the end of the file, add the file extension .csv, or later change the file to a comma-separated values file. This can now be opened using Microsoft Excel. A backup is a process to copy the database of all currently stored production units along with all crucial files for restoration and/or review. To perform the backup, you must first log in as administrator. Halt the production line if currently in production. Select the File menu. Select Backup. If desired, enter a comment about the database to be backed up. Select OK. The next window will show a progress bar indicating the number of processes to import and export for the backup. This can take a few moments to several minutes depending on the number of processes. It is important not to disturb this unless canceling. Once completed, start the production line. SigQC's development team is always eager to get under the hood and often adding new features. While these videos are intended to help, our media department may not always be able to keep up. So it's always a good idea to stay up to date by checking in with the Help menu. An archive is a process to clear the database of production units and store them along with all crucial files for restoration and/or review. SigQC has a 2 GB limit for its database size. When this occurs, a warning message appears on screen. The database will require an archive to be performed. This will move data to another folder on the computer for later review. To perform the archive, you must first log in as administrator. Halt the production line, select the File menu, and select Archive. If desired, enter a comment about the database to be archived. Select OK. The next window will show a progress bar indicating the number of processes to import and export for the archive. This can take a few moments to several minutes depending on the number of processes. It is important not to disturb this unless canceling. Once completed, start the production line. SigQC's development team is always eager to get under the hood and often adding new features. While these videos are intended to help, our media department may not always be able to keep up. So it's always a good idea to stay up to date by checking in with the Help menu.